Before the world was torn apart, before trenches swallowed millions, before empires collapsed, it all started with a single bullet. This is the story of how an assassination in a quiet European city triggered a global catastrophe. A war no one expected, but everyone was dragged into. Today, you're about to witness how World War I truly began.
In the summer of 1914, Europe appeared peaceful on the surface. Yet beneath that calm exterior, tensions were steadily rising. Rival nations were silently competing for colonies, influence, and military superiority. Ordinary people had no idea how close they were to a disaster that would transform the world forever. This is the tale of World War I, how it began, how it unfolded, and how it ultimately reshaped history. Everything began on June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was visiting the city with his wife, Sophie. During their visit, a young Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip stepped forward and fired 2 bullets that killed them both. The assassination shocked the world, but the events that followed shocked it even more. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia and issued a strict ultimatum. Although Serbia accepted most of the demands, it could not agree to all of them, and Austria-Hungary declared war. Today, diplomacy might have prevented such a conflict. But Europe in 1914 was a powder keg ready to explode. Alliances bound nations together in ways that ensured all would be pulled into war. Within only a few days, Russia mobilized in support of Serbia. Germany then declared war on Russia. France responded by declaring war on Germany. Britain entered the conflict after Germany invaded neutral Belgium. In less than a week, nearly the entire continent was engulfed in war. Millions of soldiers marched off proudly, cheering and confident, convinced they would be home by Christmas. They had no idea they were walking into one of the deadliest conflicts in all of human history. Germany's initial strategy was the Schlieffen Plan, a fast invasion of Belgium to quickly reach France. Their goal was to defeat France before Russia could fully mobilize. But the plan did not succeed. Belgian resistance was stronger than Germany expected, and the French and British forces stopped the German advance at the First Battle of the Marne. Both sides dug into the earth for protection, and soon realized this war would not end anytime soon. Before long, the Western Front was covered with trenches stretching from the North Sea all the way to Switzerland. Life inside these trenches was brutal. Soldiers stood for hours in freezing mud, surrounded by rats, lice, disease, and the constant stench of gunpowder and decaying bodies. At any moment, artillery shells could explode without warning. This was trench warfare, a deadly stalemate in which thousands of men died for just a few meters of ground. World War I introduced horrifying new technologies. Machine guns could fire hundreds of rounds each minute. Poison gas burned lungs and blinded soldiers. Tanks appeared for the first time, built to break through enemy lines. Airplanes were used to scout, fight, and drop bombs. Massive artillery guns could destroy entire trenches in a single strike. The war was no longer fought with simple rifles and cavalry. It had become an industrial, mechanical nightmare. While the Western Front remained locked in a stalemate, the Eastern Front experienced huge and fast-moving battles. Germany and Austria-Hungary fought against Russia across vast stretches of forests, fields, and frozen terrain. Russia suffered devastating losses, and by 1917, the nation was completely exhausted. Food shortages, poverty, and anger toward the government ignited the Russian Revolution. The Tsar was overthrown, and Russia withdrew from the war, signing a peace treaty with Germany. This revolution would eventually lead to the formation of the Soviet Union. In 1917, another major power joined the war, the United States. At first, America tried to remain neutral, but Germany's attacks on ships without warning, including American vessels, pushed the U.S. closer to involvement. When Britain revealed the Zimmermann telegram, a German message encouraging Mexico to attack the United States, America decided it could not stay out. On April 6, 1917, the U.S. declared war on Germany. American troops and vast supplies gave the tired Allied forces the support they desperately needed. In early 1918, Germany launched a massive final offensive, hoping to win the war before large numbers of American soldiers arrived. Initially, they pushed deeply into Allied territory, but their advance soon slowed, and the Allies responded with the 100 Days Offensive. With American help, they drove the German forces back. Germany's economy was failing, its people starving, and its army exhausted. German leaders knew the war could not go on. On November 11, 1918, at 11 a.m., the fighting finally stopped. The armistice ended more than 4 years of unimaginable destruction. Soldiers on both sides cried, prayed, and celebrated as the guns fell silent. Yet the cost was staggering. Over 16 million dead, entire cities ruined, and whole societies left in shock. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the war. Germany was forced to accept responsibility for starting the conflict, pay enormous reparations, and surrender large areas of territory. New countries were formed across Europe, while old empires like Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire collapsed. But the treaty also fueled deep resentment in Germany. Many historians believe these harsh conditions helped pave the way for Adolf Hitler's rise and the beginning of World War II. World War I changed almost everything. It transformed politics, technology, society, and global power structures. Women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers. Economies shifted, and entire nations were reshaped. The war proved that modern conflict would be far more deadly and destructive than anyone had imagined. And although people called it the war to end all wars, it instead created the conditions for an even greater conflict just 2 decades later. World War I was more than a clash between nations. It was a turning point that shaped the modern world. To understand how our world took its present form, we must understand the tragedy and transformation brought by the Great War.
World War I changed everything. World War I wasn't just history, it was a warning. If you want more powerful stories that shaped humanity, make sure you subscribe and continue this journey with us.